Well, hello my friends on YouTube. Today a video of this little guy, the CH or the Ch 3504 Mini. A Chinese knife, rather premium materials, but I'll get into that. As usual, we will start at the blade, and let's start with the steel. It is, and that is the only downside about this knife, it is Aus 8 steel. But on the other hand, you could argue that this is easy to sharpen, and that's what I'm gonna do. I have no problem sharpening this one, as opposed to some of the more so-called premium steels. We have a drop point shape and a blasted satin finish. Very nice. I'll try to take it a bit closer for you, and the CH logo with some Chinese lettering, which I am unfortunately unable to translate for you. Turning it around, we see the steel designation. It is, as I said, Aus 8. A little bit of a sharpening choil and a very coarse dominant jimping, which is not that functional, but it gives a sort of accent to the blade, and as well a little switch here on top as well to add something to the design. The length of the blade, very quickly, 7.5 centimeters. And it is a flat grind and a very thin behind the edge, and from the cutting I've done with it, very nice slicing ability, and that is of course a good thing. Moving on to the handle, and this is where it gets good. It is a titanium handle, and I don't know if I can get it so that you can see it. It has a slight milling pattern which adds a little bit to the grip of the knife. It is not completely slippery, but of course, being that slight, it is not that grippy, but it has a bit of grip. It's a frame lock, as we can see, with a lock bar insert, and free floating pivot, unfortunately, but a good thing. The Torx screws are all Torx 8. We have a spacer at the back, also titanium, and a little bit of a lanyard hole, and we have a pocket clip which is also milled out, and I think I can show you. There's not room for a lot of material under this. In my jeans I can't really put it over the seam of the pocket, but in thinner material I can do it, but it is not that functional, this clip. Not that much material, room for material underneath it. Still, it is very nice looking and has some patterns as well. Length of the handle, if we just find the measuring tape again, 10 centimeters. Fit and finish, the handle is very nicely rounded off. I can't really find any hotspots or sharp edges. It is it is very well rounded off. Lockup is about 20%, and centering as good as perfect, and that is a very nice thing. I think I forgot to mention at the beginning, this knife is $52, and as I said, the only downside, or where you they saved some money, is I think on the blade steel, which is Aus 8, as I mentioned. Then we move on to the really great thing, which is the action. I think you might have gotten a feeling of that. It has a very snappy action, and it is on bearings, which of course helps the action, and no lock rock. This needs to be, if you look at my finger here, this needs to be light switched. If you place your finger on top, you have a very pointy flipper here. If you preload the finger instead, but you can easily light switch it, which is normally the most difficult thing, but here it is most comfortable to light switch it. It's very smooth, light blade, still it almost drops by its own weight, which is of course due to the bearings. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a bit dry in my throat. I'll just have a little bit of coffee. All in all, what's good about this? A very fine little knife. This is one of the smaller ones, and the name says it, mini. It fits rather nicely in bigger hands, but it is a smaller knife and not that scary in any way. Ergonomics are extremely nice. This just sits in your hand, and even the reverse draw cut, I can almost tell you because of all this that it is not that good at draw cutting, but yeah, well, it's not bad either. All in all, this is a fine little knife. I have no problem recommending it the way I see it, the way I feel it. It really feels like quality in the hand. Very nicely rounded off. And you get titanium, and you get AWS8, and you get an amazing action for $52. Very nicely machined all over. If I should say something bad, yeah, well, this is a Chinese knife. It is bought from China via the seller DHgate, and it also, CH knives are also sold on AliExpress and so on. And I know some time ago I promised to do a video on dealing with Chinese sites. That's a bit more difficult than I thought to produce a video because things change rapidly there. So I think I'll mention it with the knives that I buy there instead. And this one was bought at DHgate. On DHgate, it's like eBay. You deal with individual traders, so be aware that you have to might look at their ratings, and you can of course read a bit of recommendations and reviews from buyers on how the knife was, so that you have a little bit of an idea what to expect. And then of course you wait an amazingly long time to get it. To sum up, a very fantastic little knife for the price. I have been carrying this day in, day out after I got it about 2 weeks ago, and I am very pleased with it. It's a little bit smaller than some of the knives I usually buy, but well, people are not that scared about it, so it's not a bad thing altogether. And I am anyway in a smaller knife phase at the moment, so I'm not I'm pleased, and I definitely think I can recommend this. Of course, AWS8 steel is not the best, but action-wise and materials as such, this could easily be a knife over $120, $150 from other parts of the world. It is very nicely built for $50. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.